Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of South Geek News. This is episode 10, and we are recording on January 22nd, 2025. And Ben and I have been the recipient of something that we haven't seen in quite some time. And I'm going to say, Ben, is somewhere around about 4 to 6 inches of snow.
I would agree. Yep.
And what you need to understand is we live in South Central Georgia. We don't get snow down here. But Winter Storm Enzo came through.
This was a named storm?
Yes, Enzo. It was a named storm. So my yard's been real pretty, and it's been a sight. It's like Winter Wonderland, except it's a month after Christmas. So, damn it,
it's still winter, but the fact that it's still on the ground and still the whole yard's covered in white.
Yeah,
and it's still at least 3 inches.
Yeah,
everywhere. That I've never seen in my life in Georgia here.
Right.
Yeah, we've gotten a light dusting that stayed overnight and was gone the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been here all day, and we played in it this morning, and then this afternoon we got a boogie board and used it as a sled.
I've got some areas other than my driveway. I've got some patches that have actually melted away, but I mean, it's currently 33 degrees. I don't think it ever got higher than about 35 here today. And
my weather app on the phone said 38 at one point, but
well, one thing I've learned is I do not trust the weather app that's on iPhones. It is wrong.
It's close.
I use Carrot.
Data's data.
Yeah.
I just assume they're getting it from the airport.
Well, in Carrot, you can actually go in and tell it where to pull it from, and it's not pulling it from Apple. The Apple weather source is one of them. I don't pull from that one because what I've discovered is once I started using Carrot, it aligns with wherever the data is coming from for Android devices. So like with Tyler, with my wife, with my daughter, our weather apps are pretty much in sync with one another within a degree-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I started using Carrot, I was like, wow, okay. Because my watch would literally say, hey, it's 36 degrees out there. I pulled up the phone and Carrot said, no, bro, it's 29. We walked out and went, it's 29.
Yeah, I'd gotten to where I'd look on my phone and then I'd look on the little weather station I've got. We've got sensors. It's got 3 sensors. One of them's out on the back porch.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's within a degree or so, but.
Okay. That's what I want to do is I want to get me a little weather station. Ryan Hull, he sells this $350 Wi-Fi enabled weather station. It looks cool, but I just can't justify that price. And I forget what it's called. I forget the name of it, but.
I've got an old Radio Shack model.
Oh, man.
Yeah. A friend gave it to me. Some part is broken. I can't remember. I think it's the rain gauge.
Yeah.
But the display on the station that everything's hooked up to doesn't work. So it's got a serial interface. And I tried once, probably 10 years ago, to interface with it and get data and be able to read the thing. But it's up in the attic in a box now, but it's got an anometer. Is that the wind speed?
That sounds right.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
Yeah. Let's go with it.
A rain gauge. I'm sure temperature stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but that would be cool it would have been cool to have it up during Helene to see if it would actually measure those wind speeds. Yeah,
this is called the Tempest Weather System. It's $339. You can spend $40 for a universal mount. The mount looks just like the type that you use to mount a satellite dish. Then there's a power booster you can get for $40. But yeah, it interfaces with your phone.
What power is boosted? What?
Yeah,
the Democrats can control the weather.
Exactly.
Oh, it's the power to control the weather.
It is. Now you're learning.
An extra license fee.
Exactly.
You can make MTG's dreams come true.
Oh, yeah. They even sell a $7 bird deterrent accessory. It literally is this thing that it goes on to the top of it.
Yeah.
And has little wires that go up
to keep,
to keep the bird from. But $339, I was like, no. Or 4 interest-free installments. Or $30.60 a month with shop.com. Okay, whatever. So what have you been doing over the last 2 weeks? It has been 2 weeks, right? Yeah, it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're offset now from last year since we skipped New Year's.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to get my life together. And part of that is going through every hard disk and solid state drive that I have in my office and around the place. Either verified bad and gone or wiped and ready for reuse. And so I was counting up not so much the number of drives, but the amount of storage in gigabytes this would all add up to. And I'm sorry to say that I didn't finish. And I'll have to report back later.
Oh. I got drives like that too. I've got stuff that I'm like, okay, I need to wipe this. Oh, I'm going to save this. And they just get stacked up. And then it's like, I got a laptop and I've got this external dongle, USB dongle that'll do to SATA. Yeah. And then I run Aomi and let it do basically the DOD. Well, not really the DOD. It just zeroes out the entire drive and then I throw it away. Because some of these drives come out of dentist office PCs. So there's HIPAA compliant data on there. So, well,
I usually harvest the magnets and that pretty much flubs up the data.
What are you trying to do? Are you trying to conserve resources?
If you have that many magnets, you can find uses. It's awesome.
You sound like Tyler. Have magnet, will travel.
Exactly. I use them to find studs in the wall. Better than a stud finder.
There's a joke there, but I'm not going anywhere with it.
And it keeps sticking to me.
Oh. Yep, there you go. Well, is that all you had? That's it.
Yeah, I already forgot the other thing, but
okay.
It wasn't important.
Really, I didn't have anything to report until an incident that happened Sunday that involves my wife. And this has nothing to do with tech, but I'm going to go ahead and share it here anyway. I actually shared it on my Call Me Donovan episode I did this morning, but I'll go ahead and share it here because there may not be any cross-pollination between listeners. So, connected with the weather, we knew that it was going to be getting colder. We knew that there was a potential for us to get snow. And we have a sunroom in the loosest definition of the word sunroom. I think when the house was originally built, it was a porch. And then when they decided to add the deck or whatever, they put up these metal frames with the windows in it. It's like prefab stuff. And so ever since we've been here, basically the sunroom has been the abode for the cats. Because at one time we literally had 20 cats in the yard, something like that. I forget. Now we only have 3. 2 of them are from, the last litter that we had years and years and years ago. They're about 14 years old now. And then there's one that took up with us about 2 years ago. So my wife decided Sunday afternoon, this was somewhere around about 3:30. She was like, well, we want to make sure that the cats don't freeze. And Tyler bought these little Govee temperature sensors that they've got Bluetooth. So I put one of those out there and I set it up on my phone so I could monitor it. It had been in our bedroom. And I've come to discover that even if it gets down to 29 degrees, it stays about 42 in that room. So the cats are fine. But she decided that she was going to go in there. Our flooring is terracotta. So it's freaking cold. So she was going to put a blanket down on the terracotta. And so I'm sitting in the sofa watching TV in our bedroom, and through our bedroom door, I can see the French doors that go into the sunroom. So I watch her go in there. She closes the door behind her, and then the next thing I know, I hear a cat scream. I see extra light show up in the sunroom. And where that came from is a couple of months ago, she and my daughter went in there and put up extra curtains. And one of them was a curtain over the door that actually goes out to the deck. And it's worked really well. That's the reason why it says about 42 degrees in there when it's 29 outside. And then I heard the cat scream. I saw the curtain go down, and then I heard a muffled yell. And I'm like, okay, I need to go check this out. So I get up and I walk in there and I open the door to the sunroom, and my wife is laying face down on the terracotta.
Oh.
And so I quickly get down beside her, and I'm like, honey, what the hell? Are you okay? And she's like, I hit my head. And I'm like, okay. So we slowly maneuvered her up to where she could sit straight up, and on the left part of her forehead, she had a goose egg forming that was already the size of a baseball. And, and I'm thinking, shit, we're about to be going to the emergency room here. And she's like, give me a minute. She said, my vision's not blurry. I said, okay. She said, I know who I am. I know my name. I know my birthday. I'm like, okay. She goes, I know the asshole president that's going into office tomorrow. I'm like, okay. And I just kept looking at her, and I'm like, that thing's getting bigger. She's like, well, I just won't be going to sleep for the next 6 hours, concussion, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, it's getting bigger. She goes, oh, I can feel it. And I'm like, all right. So finally she's like, okay, help me up. So I got her up, and she hit her head on basically concrete. Mm-hmm. We always joked about all of us having hard heads. And I told her, I said, you didn't have to prove the point. She banged up her left leg. She's got a cut on her knee, a bruise right below that, and then another cut. So her left leg below the knee was sore. She stressed out or bruised the thumb on her left hand, because as she was starting, and what caused all this, let me back up and clarify. What caused all this is when she walked in, she was holding the blanket. Well, the third cat, his name is Socks. He got out of his box, got on the floor with her because he was curious. And so she was trying to maneuver around him, and she went to take a step back, stepped on his foot, and then he yelped, and then she was trying to get off of his foot. She got tangled up into the blanket, and then she started teetering and went down. And as she went down, she tried to grab the 2x4 door frame on the strike plate side, missed it, grabbed the curtain. And the curtain's on a tension rod. And as it was going down, she hit the 2x4 door frame on the hinge side, which then knocked the whole fucking wall out of place by 1.5 to 2 inches before she finally hit the terracotta with her forehead.
Jeez.
Yeah. So I've been a little anxious because the swelling went down. The goose egg is pretty much gone. It went down by Monday morning. But yesterday morning, for reasons that we can't really understand, keep in mind, goose egg is on the left part of the forehead. Her right eye started swelling, and now she has a black eye on the right eye. We thought it would have been on the left eye, but she's got it on the right eye. So now she's wondering if what may have happened is she went down. She also hit her knuckles on her right hand and basically hit herself in the eye. We don't know.
She could have punched herself in the face. Yeah.
Yeah. But it is odd that it waited a day. It waited from when the incident happened Sunday around 3:30 to Tuesday morning to actually start swelling. And when it started swelling, it started out as just, it looks like a tear duct is clogged or something. And then the eyelid started getting a little red and puffy. And then up below the eye started getting a little purplish. And now you look at her, and I joked, I said, I swear I didn't punch you. I'm not a wife beater. I didn't do it. So that's been the excitement for me over the last 2 weeks. And it happened this past Sunday. And I'm still worried because and I keep asking her, I'm like, does it hurt the eye? And she's like, no, I just have trouble seeing out of it because of the swelling. And I'm like, okay. And here's the thing. I mean, if she says, I think I want to go see a doctor, we'll go see a doctor. But we are the type of people, because of the state of our healthcare system, we're going to do everything within our power to avoid going to the doctor. Because I know with the insurance that I have, my deductible is $17,000. I'm going to be paying out of pocket no matter what.
Yeah.
And if they decide that they want to do like a CAT scan or x-rays or stuff like that, I'm looking at multi-$1,000s that I don't have, that I'll have to just pay out over time or throw it on a credit card, which is pay out over time,
with interest.
But
if you just make an arrangement with the provider, it's usually not much. You can save 13% if you paid it all now.
Yeah.
Like, well, I could save 50% if you just charge me what this is worth.
Yeah, exactly. So that's been my excitement over the last 2 weeks. So I'm hoping that by this coming Sunday, the swelling will have gone down in her eye and it won't look as gnarly as it does right now. All right. How about we talk about some tech stuff?
Let's do it.
All right. So first up, we've got Apple agrees to pay $95 million to settle privacy lawsuit. I had no idea about this one until I saw it. I didn't even know it was in the works. So apparently, Apple has agreed to a $95 million settlement in a class action lawsuit regarding privacy concerns with the S word. I think you still have to. No, you don't. That's right. I actually just have to say it on my devices. I turned off the hey part. Users claim their private conversations were recorded without consent when she was inadvertently activated, and these recordings were allegedly shared with third parties, including advertisers. The settlement could provide up to $20 per enabled device for qualified customers who purchased the devices between September 2014 and December 2024. Hey, I think we're in that. Users must confirm under oath that she listened to private conversations without being specifically activated. And the settlement requires Apple to delete pre-October 2019 recordings and create a web page explaining their improve, insert name, program. What? Okay, I don't understand that. How do I prove under oath?
Yeah. I don't know. That's some shit I'm not going to participate in.
Me either. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't know, dude. We the irony of our modern lives. We invite these digital assistants into our homes, basically electronic butlers with questionable loyalties, and then act surprised when they turn out to be terrible at keeping secrets. It's like hiring a gossip columnist as your personal assistant and being shocked when your private affairs end up in the tabloids.
Shocked, I tell you.
So, it's it sounds like everybody just gets a coffee money.
Yeah.
Out of this. I didn't even know what was going on. If you told me that Siri was listening, I believe you. If you tell me the Echo device over there is listening, I believe you.
Yeah.
It's a matter of time.
I mean, this also goes back to, and they keep claiming that they proved this. They've proven this over and over and over again, where people are like, yeah, me and so were talking about, particular type of grill. Mm-hmm. And then later that night, I started getting advertisements on Facebook for that same grill. And they're like, our phones are listening to us. But yet all of the people in the know keep coming back and saying, no, it's all about, somebody that's, connected with you somehow, did a lookup or something, but your devices are not listening to you. And I'm like, to begin with, I was on that side. Now I'm not so sure.
It makes total sense for them to listen. I'm not saying I support any of that, but it makes sense. It's more data that they can use to target advertising.
Yeah. Well,
we did try it though. As a family, I hand wrote a note, and each one of us read it. We were going to mention cashmere pants. So I was like, what has no one looked for? Cashmere pants. And we spent, I don't know, a week just casually saying that out loud, trying to bring it up.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to find any cashmere pants at Macy's? Just saying shit like that in clear earshot of the Echo device. And never happened. I never got any targeted ads for cashmere, anything, or any particular pants.
Okay.
But
I mean, that seems like a pretty good test.
If you're talking with somebody at a party and you go, oh yeah, let me look that up. And you look it up on your phone, then if you do a Google search for it, you're going to get Amazon ads.
Mm-hmm.
But in my, short non-scientific test, it didn't work.
Hey, that's good enough for me. I mean, that's the kind of test I would do too. I never thought about doing it that way, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. And I made sure that we didn't discuss what we were doing out loud unless we were outside, just so if it happened to be listening, I didn't want it to be in on the trick.
And you were specifically trying to test whether the echoes were listening or not.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm sure we were in earshot of our phones at the same time.
Yeah.
Never got anything.
All right. Yeah. I mean, they've got to sit there and be listening constantly. The question is, are they recording? Because otherwise, how can you say, hey, Google or Siri or whatever, and it's got to be listening so it can respond.
It's got to be listening for this cue.
Yeah.
So it's hearing everything, but I doubt it's recording.
Yeah. I mean, we could do a packet analysis. And no, I'm not getting into that.
That would be encrypted. So we couldn't tell what that was.
That's true. That is true. Well.
So $95 million is, maybe it's modest, but they can have my portion of it.
I mean, that they found that $95 million between the cushions of the sofa that's outside Tim Cook's office.
Yeah, that shit fell out of his pocket when he left the inauguration.
Exactly. After dropping $1 million. What's 94 more? Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Keeping on with the Apple theme here. Critical warning for 100 million Apple users. New hack attack confirmed. There's a new variant of the Mac OS Banshee stealer malware that has emerged. It's targeting approximately 100 million Apple users. This malware can steal can steal browser credentials, cryptocurrency wallet information, and other sensitive data. I ain't got to worry about it. I don't have cryptocurrency. Originally available as a service for $3,000, the malware source code was leaked to the dark web in late 2024, leading to new variants being developed. The malware is particularly sophisticated, having stolen encryption algorithms from Apple's own XProtect antivirus engine to avoid detection. Oh, that's evil. Security experts emphasize that the common belief that Macs are inherently more secure is dangerous thinking. The malware operates stealthily, mimicking normal system processes while harvesting sensitive information. It specifically targets various web browsers, including Chrome, Brave, Edge, and Vivaldi, along with cryptocurrency wallet extensions. The threat actors even use convincing system-like pop-ups to trick users into entering their macOS passwords. Huh.
Wow.
I don't run any antivirus on my Mac. Never have.
I never have either. Because they don't get viruses, right?
Yeah.
That's what they all say. Was this just the Mac OS? It's not iOS?
Just Mac OS.
What's weird? I'd like to know more about how it's delivered.
Well, let's see. Does the article tell me?
I mean, because you just have to have somebody run it, or is it a browser trick that really shouldn't happen at all?
Let's see. Blah 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 blah. For 3,000. All right. Checkpoint report in the newly evolved Banshee Stealer campaign warned that businesses must recognize the broader risk posed by modern malware. Security experts speak out about it. Okay, so they speak out about it. What does it do?
Yeah. So when you're educating a user, hey, can I bring my Mac? What do you tell them? I mean, What extensions do you have? What browser do you use? Because Safari wasn't mentioned.
Correct.
Vivaldi, I've never heard of.
Vivaldi, yeah. Every one of them are Chromium based.
Oh, okay.
It says in a much more detailed technical report on the Banshee Stealer threat, Checkpoint's Antonis Terafos, said that it was the, quote, relatively small code update of string encryption introduced by the developer of Banshee that caused most antivirus engines to fail to detect this dangerous macOS info stealer for over 2 months. This illustrates the growing trend of threat actors targeting macOS users as well as the expansion of their arsenal, blah, blah, blah. Okay, it still didn't tell me. I'm going to presume that it comes in some kind of email. Like I said, there's a pop-up.
Well, the pop-up.
Let's see. It operates undetected, blends seamlessly with perfectly normal system processes.
It's running as a local process. It's not like a JavaScript hack.
No.
It's not in the browser.
Targets the web browsers, Chrome, Brave, Edge, Vivaldi, cryptocurrency wallets.
But it runs on the local system. So
yeah,
they've got to be tricked into downloading it. It's got to be a free included with a free download of something.
Well, we can take solace in this one comment by Shimp F at the bottom of it that says this article repeats the same information over and over and over. Banshee is a threat. Even Apple, iOS, macOS is vulnerable. Okay. After several paragraphs of the same message, we got it. But it is scant on data regarding what the threat looks like, what happens if you're infected, or how to evade it. I feel I wasted several minutes reading this. And after the fact, I think I feel the same way.
And apologies to our listeners. We've also wasted several of your minutes.
Yes, we have. So be on the lookout. We don't know how it works. Moving on.
But it's interesting that this targets browsers and crypto wallets. So do all the crypto bros use Mac? Is that what we're looking at?
I have never used a crypto wallet ever.
I have. I don't know fucking how, but I've had crypto wallet. I ended up transferring it to an exchange and then
cashed it out. Yeah.
Cashed it out. And then I put it in Robinhood, and now I just manage the crypto in Robinhood. And that's it.
That's one thing I haven't done is I haven't bought any crypto in Robinhood. I buy stock. I've got Nvidia and I've got Walmart. I ran crypto miners.
Yeah. When I had the office by the post office. Mm-hmm. And what I generated there when I quit doing it, I think the US dollar value was about $400. So I took that and had to go went through Kraken to exchange it, cashed it out, put it in Robinhood, and then I bought I think I bought Dogecoin. And I just forgot about it. So I looked last year sometime, and it was worth $1,600.
Wow.
I was like, whoa, okay. So all the I've not put any money into crypto. Mm-hmm. I mined. I think it was it wasn't a Monero. I don't even know what the short name of that is, but only what I've mined is what I've got in crypto. Right. I've not put any of my money in crypto. It's the money I pulled out of thin air.
Yeah, you don't have any monetary investment in it,
right? And then I cashed out the Dogecoin and I just bought Bitcoin. So I have like a small, but it's worth about $1,800 now.
Nice.
So if Bitcoin goes to 10 million, I'll call it a win.
That reminds me, doesn't have anything to do with crypto, but a friend of mine told me yesterday, he had to take over his dad's business. So of course I'm going to keep names out of this, but he was like something that he learned, and we've been talking about, Nvidia stock and all of that over the last year. He discovered that his father, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, invested $20,000 into Nvidia stock.
5 years ago?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. I went, dude, are you telling me that I said, that stuff should be worth like 300, 400,000 now? He goes, yep.
And you know what? I would advise him to hold.
Yeah. Hold for sure.
Keep it.
I was like, dang, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I've got like I'm buying partial shares. I can't afford to like put it. And that's the reason why I'm using Robinhood. I like that kind of service. So,
yeah.
So I'm probably going to buy some more, but I keep waiting for it. Every time I see it drop back down where it's more equitable for me to buy some, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get back to, and then it's back up again. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of crazy.
Yep. All right. AT&T is stopping its 5G Internet Air service in New York because of the new broadband law up there. So according to CNET, AT&T is discontinuing its 5G Internet Air service in New York State in response to a new broadband law requiring Internet providers to offer low-income residents access to affordable Internet rates. That's $15 a month for 25 megabit or $20 for 200 megabit. The company will notify users on Wednesday, and I need to see when the date of this article was, but and allow existing customers 45 days of the free service to find alternative providers. This decision comes after the Federal Affordable Connectivity Program ran out of funds last year. AT&T's regular wireless service in New York will remain unchanged, but since they don't offer fiber or DSL in the state, this effectively ends their home internet presence in New York.
How would you look at that? A major telecom company throwing a tantrum because they're being asked to provide affordable internet service. Fascinating. AT&T can claim it's uneconomical to provide service at these rates when other providers will manage to do so. It's rich coming from a company that reported $32.6 billion in revenue in Q3 of 2023.
That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money.
Yeah. But apparently 5G fixed wireless has a lower infrastructure cost compared to laying fiber.
So they would rather just give up the $15 a month or the $20 a month, even though they don't have fiber, they don't have copper, and the infrastructure is cheaper to do the 5G. They're just like, nope, we're out.
Well, they have a responsibility to shareholders. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
I know.
They have a responsibility to shareholders, and I'm pretty sure that AT&T, the field techs are unionized, aren't they?
Yeah.
At least some of them are in some areas.
As far as I know, the entire telecom industry is unionized.
Yeah. And then they'll have to pay to support it. So they'll have to provide a technical support line and staff to help people troubleshoot this shit. And it's going to eat into that $15 a month.
I suppose.
I'm not saying it's kind of a silly law. I think the market should adjust itself. It should be easier for another company to move in and put up towers or put their antennas on towers.
Mm-hmm.
They should put their antennas on American towers. So I have a few shares of American Tower. I probably should disclaim that.
No wonder you're pushing it.
I couldn't tell you if a tower is American Tower. I just know that's what they do.
Yeah.
Which would push the price down for competitive reasons, but
it may open the door for other services, though. You know, Starlink
is certainly an option, especially that far north. Or
here's a wild thought: municipal broadband. I mean, that's the reason. That's the reason why we have the service that we have both, at our homes right now. It started out as municipal broadband. I should know.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, Starlink is $120 a month, so that's a bit steep for low-income users.
It is, but they'll have to adhere to the same thing. And I think they were talking about the possibility that they would do something like that. But then I also saw another article that was like, no, they probably won't do it either.
I mean, they could, but they're still pushing to get Starlinks. I mean, they're selling them at Home Depot now.
Yeah. They've got the Starlink. There's a Starlink Mini, and they do have a lower service, I think they came out with, but I can't remember what it cost.
Yeah, it makes sense, but it's probably not $15.
No, it's not. And I thought about trying to use Starlink as a backup here one time, and then it was like $120. Are you kidding me?
Well, don't forget the $500 in hardware.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, F that.
Apparently, my Starlink is doing fantastic. A friend borrowed it about 18 months ago.
Yeah, it's doing great.
Yeah, he's got perfect internet service in the middle of nowhere.
You know, if I ever decided that I wanted to relocate in an area that was just away from civilization, as much as I despise Elon Musk, I would go with Starlink, because if it would give me I've looked at the map right here in this area, the speed for South Central Georgia is right at about between 150 and 200 megabit, I think, is what you expect to get from Starlink. And if I'm out in the middle of BFE, that's fine. That's enough. You know, I can deal with that. But if I've got access to fiber's going to be number one. You know, so, all right. All your Office apps are getting AI and a price increase. Microsoft is rolling out AI features in its Office apps, including Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and Outlook, as part of a new update for Microsoft 365 personal and family subscriptions. These features, powered by Copilot, include AI assistance for writing, analyzing data, summarizing emails, and creating presentations. And additionally, subscribers will gain access to the Microsoft Designer app, oh joy, which can generate and edit images. However, this update comes with a significant price increase. The 365 family subscription will go up by 30%. Okay, so that's from $10 to $13 per month, while the personal subscription will see a 43% increase, and that's from $7 to $10 a month. Annual rates for family plans will go up to $130. Personal plans will increase to $100. Subscribers will receive 60 AI credits each month, which can be used across Copilot and Microsoft Designer apps. And for those who prefer to avoid the AI features, Microsoft offers the option to disable Copilot, although certain features like suggested replies and text dictation may still be active. Subscribers can also switch to a classic plan, but these options may not always be available for new users. Feedback from test markets has been largely negative. Surprise, surprise, with many customers expressing dissatisfaction over the price hikes. Now, as much as you and I like to play around with AI and Claude and Chat GPT, I don't need this shit in my Office applications. I just don't.
On the business side, I learned something else this week.
What's that?
Publisher is going away.
Say it ain't so.
Publisher's going away later this year. I think it's October.
I'm making fun of it, but I actually have a friend of mine who was doing some work for a client of mine. We happen to actually know each other, which I didn't know at the time. And they were making brochures. And they were going to try to build the brochure in Canva. I found out later, because I looked at the brochures, and I'm like, these look really nice. And they said, yeah, I had to give up on Canva and fall back to Publisher. And I was like, okay, all right, I see you. So, I mean, I make fun of it, but if it's really going away, that's probably going to tick off a handful of people anyway.
I have one. The one who called me, and she's like, did you know that somebody told me Publisher's going away? I was like, oh, I've not heard that. All the scrolling on X, I never heard PowerPoint was going away. So I just looked it up, and it's funny because I asked ChatGPT about it. So yeah, it's going away. And it's basically whatever you do in Publisher, you can find something else. Yeah, do it in Word. Do it in Designer, whatever that is.
I don't know what Designer is. I've never looked it up.
It's probably garbage. It's funny. I had a call a few months ago with Microsoft, some guy in the sales team for Copilot. So selling Office 365 Copilot licenses. And essentially, you you turn it on, and it goes through everybody's OneDrive. I'm sure that there's some, some toggles you can turn off for certain folders or whatever, but it looks at the organization, sort of indexes it, and you can gain some intelligence based on what's there. You can ask questions, and it will presumably be able to tell you more about what's in the organization.
Right.
You can think of some organizational tasks. When's the last time we did performance reviews? Who's the worst performer? Did we miss any bills? Did we spend a lot of money in this area? What were the expenses? If you're filling out a grant application, what were the expenses in this category? That kind of stuff. Depends on what you give it access to. But it's licensed per user, and it's $360 a year, if I remember correctly.
Per user.
So basically, you could just pick a few users who would benefit from this, and go, all right, you're the co-pilot person. Because if you can't give it to everybody, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And after that conversation, I was like, yeah, okay, well, that's, that sounds useful. And I hung up the phone, and I did nothing. I'm not going to try to sell this.
I wouldn't either.
It's way too early to begin with. I can't afford to lose a client over some dumb shit like this. And
I agree.
And then I swear I read something about the Copilot integration to 365 is going horribly. Like, it's hallucinating. It's making up shit. It's got access to the wrong things, and it's a mess. So maybe they're just trying to off it now and get some money from the personal plans. And
so basically the personal plans are going to be the beta testers.
Yeah. Yeah. And nobody at Microsoft's going to answer the phone. I swear. Not for this.
No. I really do not care for the entire Office suite. I use it, but I have found that LibreOffice works better to me.
It does its job.
Yeah. I mean, I can actually do things in Libre Writer that I have to stand on my head and pat my stomach to try to figure out how to do in Word. Some of the most simple, basic tasks that you expect to be basic and simple, I can do in Libre, but I can't find them in Word. It's like, well, I know it can do it. I can spend 15 minutes trying to find it, or I can bring up Libre and do it in like 30 seconds.
It's because they rearrange the ribbon every 18 fucking months.
Yeah. And Outlook, honestly, is the worst piece of shit email client in the world.
Oh, no. The new Outlook is the worst piece of shit.
Okay. You got me.
Yeah.
You got me. The old one is better than the new one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because every time somebody's like, this thing's not working the way it used to, I'll remote into it and I'll go, hit the toggle, revert it back to the old one. I'm like, quit doing this. It's ridiculous.
There's got to be a better way. I mean, I'd rather have the web access than.
Yeah. Well, that's what I use.
Honestly, I was trying to figure out something for a client. I was like, what the shit's going on? And I signed into his account, and I looked at his email, and then I looked at Outlook. I was like, it's a fucking web wrapper. And I was like, no. So we just went to the old one. He's like, oh, that's better. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And I can't remember if it's in our list of articles, but they're forcing that down into Windows 10 and Windows 11 as a replacement for Microsoft's Mail app and on systems. So, but yeah, for business, I use the web Outlook because it works. I mean, if you're accustomed to using Gmail, I mean, and the web version does something that the actual Outlook program doesn't do. You can pin things to the top of your inbox in the web version. You can't do it in the actual program. And I use that. I've got several items. I mean, much to my own detriment, there's several items that are pinned that, they probably go back a year or two, I might need to do something with them.
Yeah.
But, it works. I don't know. I hate all this stuff. I mean, there's a place for AI, but here's the thing. Quit trying to shove it down everybody's throats. Let us acclimate to it. Let you perfect it where it actually works the way it's supposed to, and we'll be a little bit more approachable because it's more palatable for us. But when you start shoving it down our throats and then our clients start having problems with it, which means we start having problems with it, we start looking at alternatives.
Yeah. I would like to have an LLM agent. I'm not going to call it AI. An LLM agent, maybe to propose a response to an email and go, so let me see what you would have said.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I love it, I just go, okay, fuck yeah, send that. But I don't know. I'm never going to unleash something like that and let it just go. But it can be useful if you're writing documents, if you're analyzing data, things like that.
Yeah.
But for the home users, I really don't know. It's just something to play with. And how fast are you going to burn those 60 credits?
Mm-hmm. And do you even know you're doing it? You're doing something.
You'll
oh man,
know
this
when
is
you
cool.
run out.
Yeah. Yeah. This is cool. This is fun. Ding. You need to purchase additional credits.
Yeah. Like, what's that in dollars?
Yeah. Who knows?
Because what I told you earlier today, that all the testing for our email system, for the summaries for these articles, I've spent a total of 31 cents.
Yeah.
Through the development of that and, tuning it, trying again. And I was worried. I was like, I'm hitting this pretty hard. It's all text.
Mm-hmm.
I was hitting rate limits when I was playing with the computer use. And that was kind of like, I hit a daily limit. And I was like, well, guess after 20 minutes, I was like, well, guess we'll try again tomorrow. But after this, you sent that thing emails all day.
And that's the one thing I didn't clarify when you showed me that. Is that the API cost?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have a monthly plan with Anthropic.
Yeah.
I just did the API. I said, all right, well, I'll put $25 in. And I still have a smidge over $20 left since October. I haven't done much with it, but this little interaction to get these summaries is literally pennies.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's working out. All right. Graphics cards. We've talked about these before, specifically the B580. I think we brought it up in either the last show or the show before. Intel Arc B570 review at $219, the cheapest good graphics card. Intel has released the Arc B570 graphics card, a slightly scaled down version of the B580, priced at $219. The card features 10 gigs of RAM compared to the RTX 4060's 8 gig and performs similarly to NVIDIA's offering while being $80 cheaper. The B570 has lower power consumption, 150 watts versus 190 watts for the B580, maintains decent ray tracing capabilities. Performance testing shows it running at about 80 to 90% of the 580's capabilities, putting it on par with the RTX 4060 and the Radeon RX 7600. The card does require PCIe 4.0 and resizable BAR bar support for optimum performance, making it less suitable for older systems. And while has impressive gaming power efficiency, it does show higher idle power consumption with multiple monitors. Now, something that's funny that I'll interject here is last week, Linus Tech Tips, they did a live stream where they set it up and they compared a B580 to a 4060, I believe, RTX 4060. They'd have two identical systems set up. They had like 2 or 3 of these rigs set up, and they'd each play the same game on each one, and they would track CPU usage and FPS. Mm-hmm. And after they did this thing for like 3 or 4 hours. And I think at the end of it, it basically came down to where the NVIDIA was just maybe slightly above the 580. And if you could get the 580 at its actual MSRP, if you could get that, then that would be great. But the problem is that card's a $250 card that's currently going for $500.
Yeah.
Because they ran out of stock. So it's interesting that they're now producing a 570 rather, for $219. What I'm curious is, can I even find that on Amazon? I know we talked about, I think your son put in, what was it that he bought?
RTX 4060.
That's right. It seems to be the go-to card right now.
8 gigs of RAM.
You can currently get a Sparkle, I don't know who that is, Intel Arc B570 Guardian OC graphics card, 10 gig GDDR6, Torn cooling 2.0 axial fan, breathing light, metal back plate for $229 on Amazon. Or you can get the Arc, oh, never mind, that's the A. The A series sucks.
But do games like it? I mean, is it equal? I mean, if it's almost equal power, is it equally supported?
Compared to what? The 570 versus the 580 or the 5?
Well, like with the RTX 4060.
Yeah.
Because when my son's drivers are out of date, Fortnite will go, hey, you need to update your shit. And he has to update the drivers, and then, okay, he's happy.
I've run into that too.
With the Intel video cards?
I guess the games are going to have to start recognizing that, because for Fortnite to tell you that your drivers are out of date, it's got to have code in there that detects, oh, you're using an NVIDIA 4060 or you're using an NVIDIA
card, and there's new drivers available, but you don't have those. Yeah.
Right. So they're going to have to start putting that in the games to test for the Intel cards, I guess. I mean, I'm not a gamer to that extent. I mean, World of Warcraft was my jam, and I get in and look at it for about 5 minutes about once every week or two. Why I'm still paying every 6 months, I don't know why.
Well, my son, we built his PC last Christmas, and we upgraded it last month. Yeah. But since he moved to PC, he's left his Xbox alone. So for about over a year now, I've thought about playing his Xbox. I finally hooked it up to the projector, and now I can't find a controller because he uses his Xbox controller on the PC.
Yeah. I've got one. I've got a wireless one that's got a dongle, and I used to use it to play, what's the name of that? Rocket League, the one with the cars.
Yeah.
I used to use it because I found out that it was a hell of a lot easier to use an Xbox controller than to try to control that damn car with a keyboard and a mouse. But I haven't played Rocket League in like 3 years. So
he was playing it last year, and apparently he was kicking ass. But
it's a fun game. It's a fun game. It was a lot more fun whenever I was intoxicated, but because I didn't give a shit.
Yeah. Well, now you just eat a gummy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I don't think we really have much else to say about the graphics cards. I mean, it's not our jam, really.
No, it's not.
I mean,
cheapest good graphics. I just need one that supports 4 monitors.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have one right now.
Yeah.
It won't. It throws up when I throw Microsoft Flight Simulator at it. But or I was playing Formula One, and it's like, but it supports 4 monitors, so I don't need another video card.
The 4060 will work because I've got a friend of mine, an acquaintance. He's actually part of the family that owns one of the companies that's a client of mine, and he's a pilot. He's an actual licensed pilot, and so he's done this before, but he's building a whole new a whole new rig for Flight Simulator because he's training his boys to do it. And he come to me and he was like, what do you think? And I sent him to Doghouse Systems, and he called them, and I think he wound up with a 4060. And he even asked the guy, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to do Flight Simulator 2020. And the guy's like, oh yeah. He said, this thing will kick ass when it comes to that. And, he's got the actual joystick, the controls, the pedals, all of that stuff. And he's got a big 55-inch monitor in front, and he's trying to hook up these 2 27s or whatever on the side. So you get the side windows and all of that. And so if you had a 4060, Ben, you could play those things.
Well, I told my son what I wanted to do, and he's like, just play on mine. I was like, you don't have monitors surrounding you. You just got one like 27-inch curved monitor. That's nice.
Yeah.
So you don't have them surrounding you. I can't look out the side window if I play on yours. But he downloaded it anyway. I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to play it because I still don't have a yoke and pedals, and I don't have all this. But I could play it on his if I wanted. I could figure out how to do it with a keyboard.
That's not my thing. Not at all.
It would be if I had the time to build it.
Yeah.
That for that one day a year, I would have time to play Flight Simulator. It would be cool.
I mean, this guy is literally the one I'm talking about. He's actually doing the metal fabrication and making it look like an actual cockpit.
I've seen really cool simulator setups like that, and folks, they'll build it in the basement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's neat.
He just built a brand new house. He lives over in Sylvester, and he actually got that Cytel, I think is the company that's doing fiber over there now. He actually got them to run fiber out to his house. So he's got, as he put it, I got that sweet one gigabit, man. All right. OpenAI is trying to extend human life with help from a longevity startup. So they've partnered with Retro Biosciences, a longevity science startup, to develop a new AI model called GPT-4B Micro, Chat GPT-4B Micro. The model focuses on re-engineering specific proteins called Yamanica factors that can transform human skin cells into stem cells. This collaboration, which has been ongoing for about a year, aims to extend human lifespan by 10 years. Project differs from Google's AlphaFold and represents OpenAI's first venture into biological research. Sam Altman is backing Retro Biosciences, and both companies plan to publish their research findings. Okay.
Leave it to all the tech bros to have us live longer just so they can push retirement age to 82.
I know, right?
The government would just love that.
I mean, they're currently looking at ways of, doing that now.
Well, Canada just gives you an easy way out. You just sign up for euthanasia. Like, you're sick? Well, you have the option of dying.
Yeah.
When we're going, no, man, I think we should live forever. I'm like, all right, well, don't have kids. Stop making more people if you want to keep more people alive for longer. We've got a lifespan for a reason. Or we have a lifespan. We have a reproductive cycle.
Yeah.
So we should probably kind of stick with that.
Yeah. To be fair, though, the Canadian version of euthanasia does require that you actually be, what's the name of it?
Ready to go?
No, ready to go. You've got to be at the end of any. You have no other recourse.
Right.
You can't just say, "Well, I got cancer," and they're like, "Well, what's the prognosis?"
I don't want to try I don't want to try anything. I'm just do it now.
Yeah, and my understanding is, the reason why I know this is, there's an Australian guy by the name of Drex, and he's a radio personality, and he moved to Canada, and he's been on Canadian radio for I don't know how long, but I found him several years ago, and he had one of the callers was one of these guys that was trying to get euthanized. And it was so surreal because eventually he got all his ducks in a row, and he basically did one last Twitter post, because this is, pre-Elon, and then he was gone. And it was like the entire audience was on this journey with him.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit. That's morbid as fuck, but
yeah, that sounds kind of crazy. I've never known anybody to have gone through that. But yeah, it's kind of nuts.
Yeah.
But we're trying to live forever. And I've heard now that I wish I could remember the name of the project, the $500 billion investment. Part of that is looking at longevity and all that. I've also read that Microsoft is now trying to develop an LLM or machine learning model to develop specific drugs, like patient-specific drugs.
It's named Stargate.
Stargate, that's it.
How dare they?
It's also a terrible name, yeah.
How dare they?
Told you, Skynet's better.
Stargate is sacred.
Not anymore. It's going to Texas.
Shit.
But Microsoft's working on the development of like specific molecules that are going to be used to create a specific drug for a specific condition in a specific patient. So extremely detailed. And that's, I guess it's going to help us live longer. Why are we afraid of death? That's what I don't get.
I don't know. I'm kind of looking forward to it.
I'm not looking forward to it. I won't know it happened.
That's fair. Okay, let me
get that. Let's not get into that one.
No, let me just revise what I'm saying. I'm not looking forward to it, but I'm not necessarily scared of it, and I'm curious. I have my belief based on things, but there's that one little aspect of curiosity. I'm like, what if I become Q, like in the Star Trek universe? But anyway.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
If when I die, I discovered that I was wrong the whole time, I'll admit it.
Yeah.
Okay? I was wrong.
Yeah.
Just wasn't enough evidence.
Exactly. I mean, I read this article one time. Actually, no, I think I saw a video about this on YouTube. It's been several years ago, but it was talking about if humans could live forever, if you were immortal. And it was talking about like the first 100 years and then 500 years and then 1,000. The problems that we would have is that like our brain capacity is finite. So at about 200 years old, you would not remember, say, like the first 50 years of your life.
Yeah.
And things like that. And the reason why the human body, we could never technically be immortal. We could not live like 500 to 1,000 years old. It's just not possible because we would not, even if we could, we would not be the people that we started out to be. And I was like, damn, that's wild. I need a gummy.
I think you would, you'd remember what your name is.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much maybe your social security number.
Yeah, but you wouldn't, say the first 50 or 100 years of
few things you would carry that long.
Yeah. Relationships that you had when you were 75 years old and you're now 495. You'd be like, who? I don't remember that.
Unless she's still there too.
Well, yeah, there's that.
Talk about running out of stuff to talk about. Like, my kind of conversations kind of ended.
Yeah. That reminds me.
A couple hundred years ago, we...
You know who Fluffy is, right? The comedian.
Gabriel Iglesias?
Yeah. Have you watched his latest special on Netflix?
I have.
Okay. That's what made me think of it. The conversation about the couple, the 55, celebrating the 55 years. Yeah. It's like, why are y'all quiet? Well, son, we've talked about everything. I was like, oh my God, this is hilarious.
He did that was a good one.
Yeah. That was a really good special. I think that's probably his best special.
And then he flashed him and walked away.
Yeah.
That was his gift.
Yep. They're going to think of it. They're going to have something to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Meta is developing a next generation translation system called Seamless that aims to be like Star Trek's Universal Translator. The system can translate speech among 36 different languages and addresses previous limitations in AI translation. The team created Sonar, a unified embedding space that combines text and speech data from multiple languages, allowing for automatic alignment of similar meanings across languages. The system includes Seamless M4TV2, which can handle speech-to-speech translation from 101 source languages to 36 output languages, plus text-to-text translation. Additional models, Seamless Streaming and Seamless Expressive, were developed to enable real-time translation and preserve speaker expression characteristics, though these features can't yet be used simultaneously. The only problem I have with this is it's meta.
But it's here. I can see a huge benefit to this.
Yeah.
Just in sounds racist. Just in calling tech support sometimes.
I mean, there's a language barrier.
You almost need a live translation.
Yeah.
Even if it's English to English.
That's true.
For someone who was born in the 1940s, talking to a support agent in Bangalore.
Mm-hmm.
But this can help the deaf. I've seen glasses that can display subtitles.
Right.
Basically, it's speech to text, and it's right there in their view. And just being able to communicate when you travel.
Yeah. I mean, we can already do a lot of that on our phones, but the idea
seamless.
I mean, the idea of having a Star Trek communicator on my person and just being able to hear the other person in real time. Yeah, I'm down for that, even if it is coming from Meta.
They can fire all the transliterators at the UN conferences.
Yeah, you don't have to have that anymore.
You just pay Meta. No, but Zuck, everybody's calling him Zuck these days.
Yeah.
He said right now, like getting them miniaturized and scaling out production is like some of their most difficult tasks. Because right now, each one costs about $10,000.
Ooh.
So they got some work to do.
Yeah.
They're not selling them at $10,000, but that's about what they're paying for each one.
Right.
So just to be able to produce it and maintain quality and get it down to an affordable price, which it's got to be a lower price than Apple's Vision Pro.
Oh yeah,
that I don't understand that at all.
That was an unmitigated failure, and honestly, I think what they did is they knew that it wasn't going to do well, but they had to get something out, so they threw it out there as a test bed to see who would buy it, and they learned from it. So maybe about 4 generations down, they'll actually have a damn good product. But right now, I think they've stopped producing the thing.
They can only sell so many at $3,500.
Yeah, and I'm not one of them that would have. If I'd have had it, I wouldn't have bought it.
Now, Zuck had a good reason for that. It's expensive because they focused on having a highly dense display in there, which required more power, which required heavier battery. So the thing's heavier just to get the high quality screen in the device. And Meta said they are. I'm only speaking from the part of the Joe Rogan show where Mark Zuckerberg was on.
Yeah, I
didn't even finish listening to the show, but he said that with the Quest they had a low resolution screen, but it was they were able to focus on different things. But apparently the Apple Vision Pro is a magnificent display. It's just a little heavy, and wildly expensive. Quest is what, $400,
something like
or
that.
less.
It's definitely more affordable.
I think I had a Quest 2, and I think I paid $350 or so.
I haven't had any of them.
I sold it to somebody else because my wife kept talking shit when I was playing with it in the living room. I was like, well, you keep hating on it. I'm just not going to have it.
Oh, that's standard in married couples. Okay.
We can skip the Power School data breach.
Okay.
Because it's not it doesn't affect me. It affects a lot, but I can't really speak to it.
No, I actually covered it in one of the Tipton Talks newsletters because of one of the local schools down here was talking about it. They were affected by it.
Well, my wife said that they don't use Power School.
Yeah, it wasn't in Tift County.
In Tift County, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't in Tift County.
It was like 60 million students, and it was that's pretty bad.
Yeah, I can't remember which county it was, but it was several counties over. Didn't have anything to do with Tift County.
The liability in this is going to be awful.
Well, just in time for the new administration, TSMC has officially begun high-volume production of 4-nanometer chips at their Fab 21 facility near Phoenix, Arizona. Surprised it wasn't Texas. But we did say Arizona.
I'm surprised it's running already.
Yeah. The facility achieved production yields comparable to their Taiwan operations, but with higher prices. CEO C.C. Wei, I guess that's how you say his name, confirmed they charge more for U.S.-made chips due to various factors, including more expensive facilities, smaller scale production, and shipping costs. The Fab...
Shipping costs.
Yeah. They
from
literally...
Arizona is more expensive than from Taiwan?
Oh, here's why. They produce them, they ship them to Taiwan to have them packaged, and then they ship them back to the United States.
Holy shit.
Yeah. The Fab is reportedly producing chips for Apple, the A16 Bionic and the S9, AMD Ryzen 9000 series with current capacity around 10,000 wafer starts per month. Phase 1B is expected to add another 14,000 WSPM once fully equipped. So yeah, that's what I read in the article was they're literally shipping it to Taiwan for packaging and then sending it back to the United States.
Oh, it's like sending your laundry across the ocean because you don't have a dryer at home.
Hey, made in the USA, baby.
Yeah. And then that's funny because you see some things, I don't know, out of the blue, I can't think of anything specific, but see, made in Mexico, assembled in the USA.
A lot of Apple stuff's that way. It'll say
designed in California.
Designed in California. Yeah. Manufactured in China, designed in California.
Yeah. It was designed in California. Yeah. That's just marketing. But I mean, can we really, you can spin up a chip fabrication, but you can't figure out packaging? That should be an easy part.
Yeah, I don't understand that either. I mean, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. But, let's just look at it for what it is. We got tariffs coming, and it doesn't matter if manufacturing relocates here into the United States. It's still going to cost more, just like that. It's going to
cost more. Labor costs more.
Yep.
That's why things were offshore in the first place.
Yep. Tariffs are not going to help that. All right. General Motors and OnStar have reached a settlement with the FTC over allegations of collecting and selling drivers' geolocation and behavior data without proper consent. The settlement bans GM from sharing sensitive driver data with consumer reporting agencies for 5 years. The data, which included precise location information, driving behavior, and radio listening habits, was being sold to companies like LexisNexis, who then provided it to insurance companies. GM has already discontinued its smart driver program and ended relationships with third-party telematics companies. The settlement requires GM to obtain affirmative consent for collecting certain types of data, with exceptions for emergency services and legal requirements, and will remain in effect for 20 years. Wow.
I mean, all I did was buy a GM vehicle, and I've got Sirius XM calling me weekly until I finally answered the phone and hung up on him. And I got called. I had to sit in at the dealership when I took delivery and hit the OnStar button and spend 5 minutes or more with the salesperson in the passenger seat just to tell OnStar that I was not interested in a plan and I'm not going to give you a credit card.
Wow.
I was like, why do I have to, can I just not do it? So I did the 30-day trial, which just came with it. Mm-hmm. And then after 30 days, they call and it took 10 minutes to go, no, I don't want this shit. Well, in the event of an accident, well, you don't give a fuck. You have the capability to track my stolen car or call the emergency services when the car crashes. But if I don't pay you a monthly fee, you can tell me to go get fucked. So no, that'll just be the day I die.
I've never had any kind of OnStar or any kind of subscription services for my vehicle, and I refuse to do that. I just, no.
I have no use for it.
No.
Well, you can call for directions. I don't ask for directions. I'm an American man.
Exactly. I have a phone. It has maps.
I have a phone, and I can read street signs and shit. I can tell you which direction is which.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, my Ford Focus has Microsoft Sync in it, and it's not worth a shit. It is horrible. There's a lot of people that I've seen that will take aftermarket kits and yank all that crap out of their Focus and put in like Android Auto capable stuff, things like that. And I'm like, I don't care. I mean, when I got my iPhone 16 Pro, I didn't even reconnect Bluetooth to my car because I was like, whatever. And so I'll just turn the speaker up to listen to podcasts. And last week I just bought a pair of AirPods, the 4s. And so yesterday when I needed to go somewhere, I was listening to a podcast. I threw the left one in my left ear and was just listening to it that way. So I could still have, I could hear the environment around me out of the right ear because I don't need to listen to a podcast in both freaking ears. And so, yeah, I never resynced it. And Microsoft Sync was crap, and they knew it. They I think when they quit putting that shitty transmission in them, I think they also stopped putting Microsoft Sync in them. Because we literally have a computer-controlled standard shift transmission in these cars. That's what it is. The computer tells it when to shift. Yeah. So
based on your driving style and
but that's the reason why it's been a terrible transmission. And basically, anytime you have a problem with it, you take it to the Ford place and they fix it free of charge because they know that it's terrible.
But them selling, I knew, I had an idea that they had this telemetry.
Yeah.
But I never saw anything in any agreement when I bought the truck that the data would be collected and sold.
What bothers me is it goes to insurance companies.
Yeah, that's horseshit. Because what Progressive has that device that you put in the car.
Will not do that.
Yeah, never. I think Tesla, if you insure through Tesla, they take the telemetry and in your driving style to whatever. So, I don't know. I mean, I brake hard if the person in front of me brakes hard. I shouldn't be charged more for that. I shouldn't be higher risk for that.
Exactly. I agree. I'm all for data analysis, data collection for me to analyze the data. But when it can be used against me, it's
when
like
it's used for someone else's formation of how you're going to, what kind of person you are, what kind of driver you, what kind of risk you present. I don't like that.
I mean, Progressive bills it as, if you're a safe driver, then you get discounts on your rate.
Well, they never define safe driver.
Exactly.
We need parameters.
Exactly. That's what I want.
And I need to see the data too. Because who knows what LLM they put it through or who flubbed the information, figures don't lie, but
and they're using Copilot.
Yeah. So there's got to be something to hold them against.
Right.
For that. You can't, I've been driving too fast. I haven't gone anywhere this month, asshole. Who stole my car?
I mean, I drive like most Americans do. If the speed limit is 55, I drive 60 because it's just what I do.
Because you'll get rear-ended if you don't.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, if the speed limit is 70 on the interstate and you're not doing 80, you're going to get run over. So that's just the way it is.
From here to Locust Grove, straight up 75.
Yeah.
So here to the perimeter around Atlanta, the cruise is typically set at 83. And people still pass me.
Still pass you, yeah.
So not having an insurance company have a non-objective look at it.
Exactly. That's it.
Or I won't say not objective, out of context, look at it and go, oh, you drive too fast.
Yeah.
Well, put one of those in everyone else's car and see if I drive too fast.
Yeah. Have you been on I-75? Then shut up. All right. Microsoft is rebranding Microsoft 365 Office to Microsoft 365 Copilot. I guess this goes back to the previous story we were talking about, including a logo change from the blue hexagon to the Copilot logo with an M365 tag. This change reflects Microsoft's strong commitment to their AI initiative. The company is also increasing subscription prices like we talked about for the first time in 13 years, citing the integration of Copilot into the base plan. This suggests Microsoft wants users to view the suite as an AI-powered tool first and a productivity app second. I guess we could have just dropped this one, but...
So, yeah, I knew this was coming because, well, I mean, I think I put this in here, but I told you they couldn't sell Copilot. $360 a year per user on top of, and you couldn't stack that on like the 365 basic plan. You had to have professional, whatever they call it. It changed the name of the plans three times.
And they used to have like the E1, E2, E3, and E4.
They still have the enterprise plans.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But there's 365 basic, which is basically your email domain and OneDrive and all the web version of the apps.
They have another one called Business Standard.
Business Standard.
Yes. Yeah.
There's Business Basic, Business Standard. And the Standard is the basic with the desktop application.
It's like $12.50 per user per month. Yeah.
I think you could add Copilot to Business Standard, or you'd have to upgrade that user to like an E3. All that's confusing. It's also another reason I didn't want to sell it. But it didn't sell, and it's going horribly. So now they're just making everybody have it.
Yeah, when I log into my one of my clients' administration sections for Microsoft 365 Admin Center, now on the left-hand side, I've got Home, I've got Copilot. Yeah, buy Microsoft 365 Copilot. It combines the power of AI with your organization's data to help everyone get more work done. And then I got a settings thing. Make sure users are eligible. Total prerequisite licenses for this account is 60. Users on an eligible update channel is 12. Those 12 are probably the ones I have on Business Standard because the majority of these folks only get email and use the web apps. But
you mean Business Basic?
Well, the
used to be Basic and Pro, or Standard and Pro, but now it's Basic and Standard.
It's Basic and Basic is email only. Standard is the one that gives you the application suite. Yeah, and I only have 12 of those in this listing. The rest of them are just basic. So I don't care. Not doing anything with it.
I'm going to play with it if I get some credits, because I think I've got a E3 license for my, the one user in my organization, me. I've got an E3 license because I needed a bigger mailbox, or I needed something. I can't remember why. But
let me look at mine and see what I got.
So apparently I'm going to get it. So
I am. I'm just a business basic. I'm a basic bitch because all I needed was email. So
I could probably get away with that, but
I pay $6 a month.
Because you just a basic bitch.
I am a basic bitch. Speaking of basic bitches, proposed New York law could require background checks before buying 3D printers.
Oh, this is fucking horrible. What's next?
Spray paint? Do what now?
Spray paint. Like I have to show ID to get spray paint.
Do you?
I've been carded before. Yeah.
For spray paint.
Fucking spray paint.
Wow. Okay, so
I walk in there with gray hair and Carhartt clothes on, and they got to make sure I'm not going to hoof it.
Oh man! So New York state legislators are considering a law that would require background checks for anyone wanting to purchase a 3D printer. Under the proposed law, if someone cannot legally own a firearm, they would be prohibited from buying a 3D printer. While it's already illegal to print most gun parts in New York, critics argue this legislative overreach that could face constitutional challenges. Alternative suggestions include focusing regulations on metal firing components and potentially requiring printer manufacturers to implement software that blocks printing of gun parts though the technical feasibility of such restrictions is questionable. No, it's not. You know what you can't do on a copier?
Copy a $100 bill?
Exactly. It will not do it.
Why?
Because it's pre-programmed.
Because the copier won't, or because the note itself is simply
the copier
will
won't
not copy.
The copier won't do it. They programmed in, I don't know how many years
I knew it was
ago.
illegal.
Yeah, but from what I remember reading, so don't take this as 100% fact, but I do remember reading years and years ago that if you tried to copy a $1 bill, $5 bill, doesn't matter, any form of currency, American currency, on a copier, like a Canon or any of these, it either will refuse to do it or it'll come out looking shitty. Because, I mean, there's absolutely no way that you can make a viable copy anyway. Even if the copier would do it, you're not going to be able to make something that's passable on a copier anyway.
Right.
But I remember, and this is pulling from something way back in the gray matter, I remember there being code in these copiers. Even your MFCs, like your HPs and your Brothers, if you try to run a $1 bill or $5 bill through it, it's not supposed to copy it.
I've never thought to try it because I'm not that silly. But
well, me either.
Yeah, it's not something I have ever run into. But I know it's illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, if you present like an image of if you print an image of a bill, because it's got to be like huge. It's like clearly not trying to pass as currency. It's just
okay. So according to ChatGPT, I just said, will copiers copy currency? Modern photocopiers are designed with security features that prevent the duplication of currency. Many banknotes incorporate specific patterns, such as the Urian, I guess that's how you pronounce it, constellation, a series of small circles arranged similarly to the Orion constellation that copiers can detect and subsequently halt the copying process to deter counterfeiting. That's from Wikipedia. Attempting to photocopy U.S. currency is not only technologically challenging, but also illegal. Under Title 18, Section 474 of the U.S. Code, reproducing images of U.S. currency is prohibited and can result in fines up to $5,000 and or imprisonment for up to 15 years. That's from Legal Eagle. So, yeah, even if you can bypass it, you run the risk of going to jail.
I think it'd be fun to try to put that pattern in a document
and then test that.
People a copy just to keep them from copying something. I don't know.
I wonder if anybody's ever tried that.
But requiring background checks before buying 3D printers.
Yeah.
All right. So you take the number of people who buy a firearm, and I don't know. That's a bad way to do it. Hang on. I don't know. It sounds silly. When you think about it, when I think about it, the New York residents are paying lawmakers to talk about this shit. This is useless.
It is.
This is just going to end up with Bamboo Labs and Creality going, not available in New York. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, what are they going to do?
I mean, this is like Pornhub all over again.
Or an underground market in New Jersey that's just smuggling 3D printers in. Like, how many people who can't pass a background check also want a 3D printer?
That's a good question. It's ridiculous. They can spend their time better use of their time for sure. If
I can't buy a gun because I can't pass a background check, I'm just going to go somewhere that doesn't require a background check.
That's what's wrong with America.
Now, what's wrong with America is we're wasting time legislating against some shit that doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. This is ridiculous.
If we took all the guns away in this country, we'll just have people stabbing people. And we'll have, there you go. There's a perfectly good caliper that could eventually be a murder weapon.
Yeah.
We'll have people killed with slingshots. They're going to find a way. You can't legislate your way out of indecency.
Yeah, I think the phrase I've always heard is you can't legislate morality.
Yeah.
You just, it's not possible. And because every time you attempt it, it gets circumvented and you just piss people off.
They're going to fucking try anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
I don't know. I'd be in the halls screaming, "We don't pay you to do this shit."
It's going to be one of those things that nobody even recognizes as happening until it goes into law. And then somebody goes to buy a 3D printer and they get flagged and they can't.
Hey, fill out this paper. What?
For a 3D printer? Hell, I'll ship it to my cousin in New Jersey. I'll go pick it up.
Exactly.
Jeez.
I mean, I've gotten around stuff like that.
Yeah. All right. According to Ars Technica, Apple is changing how Apple Intelligence features are enabled in the upcoming iOS 18.3 update. Previously opt-in by default, these AI features will now be automatically enabled during device setup. Users who wish to opt out will need to do so manually through settings after setup is complete. This change affects iPhone 15 Pro series and iPhone 16 series devices, as well as iPads and Macs with the M1 processors or newer. The update also includes some bug fixes and temporarily disables notification summaries for news and entertainment apps due to accuracy issues. Additional features include visual intelligence capabilities for iPhone 16 models and improvements to how notification summaries work. I have disabled Apple Intelligence on my phone. I don't use it.
Out of curiosity, I mean, I look at the notification summaries. I don't use them.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. And it's clearly a summary because it's in italics.
Well, the number of people that have complained about the fact that it has summarized multiple notifications and given them a heart attack because And I was like, you know what? The biggest thing I probably used was Siri's connection to ChatGPT. Whenever I would ask Siri something and it was like, I can't do that. Do you want me to use ChatGPT?
ChatGPT?
And you know what? I have the ChatGPT app on my phone. So if I want to use it, that's what I do.
Yeah.
And that's my search.
I thought this was a model that was kind of capable like that, but it turns out it's not.
No, it's worthless.
Like, can they just replace Siri with ChatGPT?
They need to. And what's sad,
it better anyway.
And what's sad is before I was an Apple guy, you know, Siri was an independent app that they bought. And
I remember that now.
Yeah. And according to everybody that used to use the app, it was so much better before Apple got a hold of it. I can't vouch for that, but I've heard numerous people say, yeah, when it was an independent app, it was a great assistant. But when Apple got it and integrated it, it just went to shit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get Siri to do a lot.
I set timers.
Set timers. Every once in a while, I'll add something to one of my reminder lists.
Mm-hmm.
I have used it through CarPlay to respond to a text. Like when you text me, we still on for the show? And I'm on the way.
Yeah.
I go, 5 minutes out.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we've been asking it things here and there just to see if it has a response, but it doesn't hold context. Which is weird.
Which it's supposed to. Now, with Apple Intelligence, it's supposed to.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's supposed to be in version 18.3, 0.4, 0.5, 19. I don't know.
I don't know. I've got 18.3 waiting to update tonight. So
are you on the beta or is it released?
Yeah, this is on beta.
Okay. Yeah. I do not allow this because this is my main cell phone.
Yeah, it's my main phone too.
But I don't. Now, my iPad, I let it do beta, but I don't let the phone because I got too many people that text me. I'm like, that'll be that $100,000 deal that falls through because I couldn't respond to a fucking text.
Yeah, there's always one of those on the line, right?
I know, right? Yeah, I'm always waiting. Okay, last story. This one actually pissed me off because I'm like, I already pay $22.95 a month, and it's going to $24.95 for Netflix.
Is that like the lowest plan?
No, I'm on the highest.
Oh,
I have multiple. Here's the problem. At one point, I needed multiple screens, and I also wanted 4K.
Right. Now
I need to see if I can actually, as long as I can hold on to the 4K, I don't need multiple screens. I think 2 is probably the max that I will need. I think the one I'm at will do 4 or something like that. But they all went up. But according to the Hollywood Reporter, that's a rag you always go to.
That's legit. Yeah.
Netflix reported a record-breaking subscriber growth in Q4 2024, adding 19 million new subscribers, reaching a total of 302 million subscribers. This growth was partly driven by high-profile content, including NFL games and the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson boxing match. The company reported $10.2 billion in revenue, $2.3 billion in operating income. Netflix announced it will stop providing quarterly subscriber updates, focusing instead on revenue and profit metrics. The company is expanding its live events programming, including WWE Raw broadcast, and plans to spend $18 billion on content in 2025. Netflix also announced price increases across its service and authorized $15 billion in stock buybacks. That right there is what pissed me off.
What, stock buyback?
The stock buybacks.
Well, it says it right there. It will stop providing quarterly subscriber updates, focusing instead on revenue and profit metrics.
I know. So we're raising your rates because we're going to make more content. Oh, and by the way, we're going to buy back $15 billion of our stock. So we need an extra $2 from your ass every month. All right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's funny. It wasn't the Paul Tyson fight, which was clearly rigged. I will say that every day.
Yeah.
It just so happens that this year I decided to read more, and get some projects done. Mm-hmm. So I've canceled the Fubo TV, Netflix, and Apple TV. So I have zero paid TV service.
How'd you watch the Fluffy thing then?
It was the tail end of the subscription.
That's right. Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to watch a couple things before it's out. I think it was over the weekend. Mm-hmm. I was like, and it'll let me watch previews. I get to pick a show, but as soon as I hit play, it's like, you don't have a subscription. I was like, all right, well, I guess that was the day.
Yep, that was the day.
It might have been like the 17th or something, but I didn't know. But I've got Fubo till the 1st, so I can watch all the rest of the NFL playoffs, and I can't watch the Super Bowl.
So you can see this weekend who's going, but you're not going to be able to actually watch the Super Bowl.
I'm sure I'll have my antenna up by then.
I did email you the one I use, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you did. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to see because I was trying to look back through my, let's see, Netflix. Yeah. $22.99. Plex is $4.99. Hulu is $19.99. Paramount is $12.99. I got to reevaluate some stuff.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Granted, the Hulu, that $20 is Disney and Hulu, but that doesn't necessarily mean that that's okay, Because I started out with just Hulu, and it was only like $10, $10.99 a month or something. And then a lot of the shows I would watch, I watched The Rookie on Hulu because I don't watch a lot of live TV. Matter of fact, I don't watch any live TV unless it's just background noise or, it's after lunch or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it's not, I don't get in front of the television at 8:00 on a Wednesday night so that I can start watching the Chicago 1 universe,
Yeah.
I watch that shit the next day or Friday or Saturday or whatever in my own damn time. But yeah, these prices, man, they're getting ridiculous.
Yeah. So my projector doesn't have a TV tuner in it. So I'm going to have to get a tuner. And I've looked at those, and some of those you can put a hard disk in it and have it record off the air.
Yeah.
And I believe I might can get CW over the air. I just got to look, but that might be a possibility.
Oh, crap. Really?
Just for the races.
Hang on. I was logging into I was going to look on my Plex. I just signed in. Thank you. But you get testy with me.
You're talking. Right.
Live TV. Let me look at Plex 1. Yeah. CW. Sure, I don't have the sound up on this because I don't want it to go out. Get a copyright strike on the podcast. I've cut it out. Let me see if it'll actually pull that channel up. Playback could not tune to channel. Okay, is that the only CW? Okay, here's another one. This one's low. This one's 49.2. The one I tried to pull up was 10.4. So 10.4 comes off of the same, I believe that's the transmitter that WLB comes off of, or tower. 49.2. Where are you located? All right. 49.2 is trying TMZ zone right now. It's doing its best. Antenna signal strength, 83%. So I'm getting a CW feed off of 49 point, whatever it is I said. So yeah, with my antenna in my attic. So if you put one outside, you'll probably get better results.
Yeah, this one's supposedly motorized and all of that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, mine's not. That's the reason why I said I really need a second one and then use like a combiner so that I could put them in two different directions, even though they're not directional. But anyway. All right. Well, that concludes our episode for 22nd of January, where we're in a newfound ice age down here in South Central Georgia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, I could have made it over there to do the show with you, but I wouldn't want to drive back now.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to walk from here to my house now, but
well,
but I can't
have to make choices.
I can't stay out here because I got to pee.
Well, it's time to end.
Yep. On that note, if you have questions or comments, the email address is podcast@southgeeknews.com. You can call and leave a voicemail, or you can send a text, and that number is 229-234-1307. I'd also like to direct your attention to the fact that we do have a members-only section to this. If you become a member for $5 per month, then you will get access to the SGN After Dark. That's basically where Ben and I just kind of talk crap, whatever, at the beginning of the show, sometimes at the end of the show, but that is not what you get in the main show.
Not today, because Donovan has to pee.
Not today, because Donovan has to pee, but there is some stuff at the beginning that will get put into the SGN. And I'm also doing, since he's not here, we're doing it remotely. I'm recording this one for video, so we'll see what we can do something there for our members. You'll
see that I put on a polo, even though I'm still wearing sleep pants, and I comb my hair.
There you go. All right. Well, until next time, 2 weeks from now, I haven't looked up the date. That'll be in February.
February, yeah.
Yeah, we'll be in February. Anyway, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Everybody take care. Try to stay warm, especially if you're anywhere that it's freaking cold like down here right now. And we'll talk to you soon. Bye. This has been a production of Tifton Media Works. Check out all our podcasts by visiting tiftonmediaworks.com.